Nurse TV, brought to you by HESTA and the Australian Nursing Federation.
Hi, my name's Phil Harness. I work for the Royal Flying Doctor Service, and this is our aircraft behind me. It's a Super King Air that's made in the United States, and once we take delivery of it, it takes about 3 or 4 months of changes that are made in Australia to make it suitable for our needs, so that we can land on dirt runways and go into a lot of smaller outstations and that sort of thing. What I like most about being a flight nurse with the RFDS is the variety of work that I do. It's certainly nice to come to work and not really know that you're going to have a routine day. My day might consist of flying a patient down to Adelaide and then doing some emergency evacuation or something like that on one of the smaller stations or communities in the area. I've always had a bit of a love of aviation too, so being a flight nurse allows me to combine both aviation and nursing. Well, as you can see, straight away the first thing you notice is a quite compact environment, but there are also a number of other issues that make us a little bit different from working in a hospital. It's quite a noisy environment on board the aircraft, and the nurse is always in constant communication with a headset to the pilot, and so just simple things like communication on board the aircraft with the patient are made a little bit more difficult. There's lots of vibration, and because we also fly at altitude, there's pressure effects, and all those things are necessary to be taken into account when we transport any sick or injured patient. I guess probably being a flight nurse with the RFDS is perhaps a little bit autonomous, or more autonomous than, say, working in a hospital environment. I get the opportunity to make a lot of decisions on my own, and also with consultation with a doctor as well. About 80% of the flights, or 70 to 80% of the flights we do are just a nurse and pilot on board, so there's quite a bit of room for me to have a say in the care that my patients receive. This aircraft is equipped to carry up to 3 patients. We can take 2 on a stretcher and a sitting patient as well, and we are able to monitor in flight a variety of methods of monitoring, and basically we're set up to handle any sort of emergency on board at all. We do treat such a variety of patients, and most of the patients we see are in need of some life-saving intervention, whether it be from a baby who's just been born a couple of hours ago to a gentleman who's had a heart attack, or we've been out to a motor vehicle accident. We transport a variety of critically ill patients, and as a result, the nurse who comes into this position needs to have a wide range of skills and background, and needs to be on the ball perhaps a little bit more than if they were working in a hospital situation. In lots of circumstances, as I mentioned before, it's only myself on board, so I ultimately become responsible for the patient. I guess the attraction of the Broken Hill RFDS is that it's certainly considered a remote area, and I've always had a love of the bush, and Broken Hill has the attraction of being a reasonable sized town, so it's nice to be able to work in the bush during the day and then come back to a town environment at night. Of the RFDS bases in Australia, I'd say that Broken Hill would be the pick for me, because it's still close to sort of the major capital cities. We're only a few hours away by car, yet it's certainly still isolated enough to be really a true outback area. This piece of equipment is a vacuum mattress. It's one that we use quite frequently for evacuating patients. Basically what it is like a stretcher with handles. It's quite soft and pliable, and we pop this around the patient, pop the patient around there, and then actually remove the air from the vacuum mattress, and it acts like a firm splint, quite good for transporting patients with spinal injuries and neck injuries and that sort of thing. I guess one of my most memorable experiences actually occurred a couple of weekends ago, and it was a particularly busy weekend which saw us do a number of jobs. The first one was actually a gentleman who was involved in a truck rollover, and we flew from Broken Hill about an hour and saw this gentleman in one of the smaller country hospitals and retrieved him to Albury. In that same day we also did a couple of rock climbers that fell off a cliff in outback New South Wales, and we also delivered a 30-week or 2-month premature baby that evening. And that would certainly go down as one of the days that I remember as being a very busy one, and certainly one where it wasn't routine at all. I guess the jobs that I've just described you are what I call the cream of the position, and are the things that I really like doing. So yeah, it's a great job, and I'd highly recommend anyone who has an interest in either nursing or aviation to you know, look at combining the two roles at some point in their career. Get used to studying, because there's certainly a lot of study to get to this position, but and at times it might look a bit mountainous, but certainly well worth the study and effort to get here, and it's a very worthwhile, rewarding job, and I don't regret the amount of work I've put to get here at all.